This is Lord Mafka, aka Rogan Azrain, back at you with another video. And in today's video, I want to talk about why I no longer desire close relationships with others. Having close relationships with people, guys, is really going to become at the behest of your own downfall. Because people in today's society do not know how to interact with each other. People are not empathetic. And whenever you try to explain what you're going through to people and you show that you're struggling, and even you could look physically sick, and people will still tell you that you're weak, you're pathetic, especially being a man in our time and era. You have a lot of negative social stigma upon you. And this is the biggest thing as well. Having a bunch of negative social stigma upon you for how masculine you should be, how much money you should have, the type of attitude that you should act like you have, even though you really feel just horrible inside about yourself. You really feel like you aren't worth a freaking thing. And people expect you to ignore everything that you've went through your entire life. And this is what makes it so difficult and just a very bad idea to just have close relationships with others, because the more closer you become to people, the more you give them an in for them being able to do damage to you in your life. They're able to shape your mindset. They're able to influence you to do things that could be at the worst benefit for your own well-being. So, having close relationships with people in our day and time is very overrated. And as Machiavelli once said, a man that is not able to tweak his moral nature, and he who is too moral will always come to no ruin and defeat. And this is something that's really true when you look at the man that is average in today's time, unattractive. So many of these guys that I see out here, they're too nice to people, they're too understanding. They look at people from the lens of what they want people to be. They don't look at people for what they are. And this is the problem with men that I see going on. We look at people from the lens of what we want them to be, not for who they are. And people who always tend to tell you, oh, I'm not like this person, oh, I'm different. And I know you guys have heard this saying a million times from women. I know you've heard this from people that are around you and say, oh, not everyone's the same, I'm not like that. They are like that, because if someone isn't like that, why would they feel the need to say, whenever you state an objective generalization pattern of people, whenever you generalize people, why would they feel the need to say, I'm not like that? They are like that. They're trying to sell you a masquerade. They want to sell you a figment of who they are as a person so they can get into your life and mess up things. And this is why you must be vigilant at all times. You really have to stay consistent in being extremely picky with people. I am extremely picky with who I allow close to me at all. And having close relationships, that really isn't a thing for me anymore, because I understand how people work from the premise of power, dominance, and manipulation. Those are the three things that humanity consists of. And all of this stuff about love, understanding, care, those things are non-existent in our society. Especially if you're a man watching this video, you'd be lucky to even get a shred of that from just paying for that affection. And that's what's so brutal about it. A lot of men have to pay to get to that type of affection, and in reality that's not even real. That's a illusion. That is something that is artificial, that you had to buy, which isn't even something that is a real concept in the first place, especially in our day and time. So, being a guy who knows how human beings work, being someone who actually understands the dark principles and foundations of dark psychology, and how you are actually working with manipulators on a daily basis. The fact you have to give a government that is just ungrateful, they really don't help you as much. The fact you have to give them more taxpayer money, and you have to go out your way to be a wage slave and just work until your body doesn't work anymore. That just shows you right there. Everything has to do with manipulation. The whole thing with you and your family, the bond you have so called between them, it's all about manipulation. When you were a kid, you were told you have to get these grades in order to be accepted in this household. You need to have this type of behavior in order to be accepted. I mean, obviously, you shouldn't be acting like a freaking, pariah, a lion that is just so crazed in the desert and the wild. But if you're being pushed to be Mr. Perfect and told that you're not going to be able to get this emotional affection because you aren't meeting the standards of what I want you to be, then that should show you right there the real fruits of what humanity has to bear. And me, on the other hand, I really want no part of having close relationships with other people. Just knowing that that dynamic exists, just knowing how people really are not people that you want to be around like that nowadays, man. Because you're not going to get anything out of it. All of the things that you see externally from these little couples that you're going to see possibly walking around in the summertime, these social cliques of friends that you see hanging out with each other, externally, they just look glorified. They look like they're just dandy, like they're very well synchronized together. But in reality, there is a lot of turmoil, there's a lot of toxicity, there's a lot of misunderstanding, frustration, disturbance in these close relationships. In these social circles, there are so many people that are not for the good of the people around them that they are interacting with. So, why place yourself in that situation in the first place? Why not just focus on learning how to live with loneliness? Learn to understand, to embrace your own company. Enjoy being around you. Because being around other people is always going to come at the detriment of you having to morph and shift your character into someone you're not. And I refuse to continue to shift and be someone that I'm not, all to please someone else who is just on a less level of conscious understanding of how this world works. Power, dominance, manipulation. Those are the only three things that you need to understand, that that's how human beings work with each other on. So everything else you've heard about, oh, I want to manifest this love in my life. I want to have better around me. I want to help everyone around me. I want to be like a humanitarian angel for everyone. Those are not realistic ideals, because those things will always entail you becoming too emotionally addicted to people. You will start to put on just very ambiguous ambitions on yourself that really aren't going to serve you in the long run. The only thing that's going to do is make sure everyone else around you is good. You're not going to be the slightest of good. Everyone else is seeking to take from you. They're seeking to be pirates in the mist that just come off the boats with their little swords, their anchor and whatever they have, their cannons, and they just steal from you, and they blast these words of negativity at you. They like to poke you with swords of frustration. And then they take all the treasure of your peace. And that's just what these people are. They're raiders, they're pirates. And you have to have an anti-pirate and raider system that you have set up for these people. So the best way to navigate through this is really just keeping clear from all instance of threats. Do not allow people to be close to you. And if you're a man who's been through a lot in your life, then you should already understand the number one rule of you really should not care about anyone but yourself, man. That's just how it is nowadays. And do I hate that it's this way? Do I want it to be this way? No. I'm basically just tweaking my morale. I'm tweaking my perception of reality so I can have a better dynamic on how to interact with other people in the open world. We already know that this world is a slave farm. It loves to take from your pain, your pity, your frustration, your regret, all of your bad memories, all of the times you just came up short. And That's what this world likes to do. So if we know that this is how the world is working, then we need to be coming up with more things to put into plan to avoid and be cautious of these things happening more or less and frequently in our lives. So I hope you guys are well out there, and don't trust anyone out here, man. It's a very dangerous game you're playing. Wanting to be a part of social groups, wanting to interact with each other is frequently a lot like that. You're playing a very dangerous game that's not only going to get you hurt, but it could possibly change your life forever to where you probably won't be able to physically move anymore. You won't able to be even able to be free in this society more. You might get locked up, you might get your life stolen. So many things can happen to you, all because you choose to deal with people that you think are for your own well-being, and in reality they're for your exploitation. They are for marketing off your frustration. They are for really your whole downfall and the destruction of you as a human being. So really be careful and monitor that threat around you guys. But you guys take care. Like and subscribe if you're new. Tell me what else you guys want me to elaborate on in the comment section. I highly appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next video. And like I always tell you guys, stay away from the modern woman. Thank you.